All of you. You are all Hamas. I am Danny Danon. Why are you leaving? No politic here. No politic. Israel number one. Israel number one. Anti-Semitism. It's like upvoting your own YouTube comment. Yeah, true. True. Anyway, let's get to it. Netanyahu of today. Netanyahu, Israeli Prime Minister at the UN General Assembly. Now, even before Netanyahu made his way to the United States of America, there was already a lot of news. And even before he delivered this speech, there was a lot of news surrounding him. Number one, when he was flying to the United States, he actually had to avoid the airspace of numerous European countries, such as Spain. Okay? Interesting. Big L for him. Good start. When he came to the United States of America, he was staying at the Lowe's Hotel. I believe it's like a $1,700 a night stay that, of course, is taxpayer funded. And people figured out where he was staying. And, of course, they wanted to protest around where he was staying. But the American government, once again, did what it loves to do best. Use tax dollars to defend Israel. Breaking. NYPD is mass arresting protesters outside of Netanyahu's hotel, accusing them of making unreasonable noise. What's truly unreasonable is Netanyahu murdering over 680,000 Palestinians. Our noise is resistance. Our noise is justice. New York is on our side, and the cars passing by are honking for Palestine and not letting Netanyahu sleep tonight.
This is not the United States of America. It's the United States of Israel. The same shit that's happening in Israel right now.
Yeah. Not only did they arrest people that were protesting, they also shut off the entire street around the hotel, for the record, which is even more tax dollars being spent. Interesting. But I guess it's just one speed for America, one speed. Netanyahu is more important than you, tax-paying citizens. Your tax dollars go to you to both defend him in the homeland when he's here in the United States of America. Your tax dollars go to fund his lavish hotel stays. Your tax dollars go to him bringing his literal dirty laundry, okay? And then your tax dollars go to the militarized police force of the NYPD, shutting down entire blocks of New York City so that Benjamin Netanyahu can sleep comfortably at night, so he can come out and deliver this dog shit speech. Now, of course, things are changing. Things are changing. What do I mean by this? Well, the United Nations General Assembly and its damn near entirety walked out before the Netanyahu General Assembly address. There was a bunch of stuff that Netanyahu did that was also unique that I'm going to be talking about as well. Before the address started, he ordered the IDF to bring in a bunch of PAs into the Gaza Strip, okay? He brought in a bunch of PAs into the Gaza Strip so that, I guess, the Palestinians could hear his wonderful speech. There were reports of the Israeli government intercepting the phones of Palestinians and blasting his speech as well. I can't confirm that one. I don't know. But I can confirm that at least the Palestinians that I talked to in Gaza did not hear the speech at all, for the record. Not just reports. Netanyahu confirmed it in the speech. Yeah, he was view-botting. Look at this. Jerusalem. In unprecedented operation, Israeli army takes over mobile phones in Gaza residents to carry Netanyahu's UN speech live. In an unprecedented action, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, in a live broadcast from the UN building in New York, has announced that the IDF took control over the telephones in Gaza residents and Hamas members, and that his speech is now being broadcast live via their telephones. The Prime Minister appealed to the residents of Gaza and made it clear that the war could end immediately upon the return of the hostages, the disarming of Hamas, and the demilitarization of the Strip. We still act as though this is not a concentration camp that Israel has complete control over, by the way. So stupid. So unimaginably stupid. They didn't take them over. They sent an SMS to tune into him with a URL. Oh, okay. Regardless, the fact that they have the phone numbers of every single person with a phone, cartoonishly evil shit. Despite the loudspeaker operation so far, residents in Gaza complain in Telegram groups that they hear nothing from Netanyahu's speech, which is supposed to be broadcast on loudspeakers deployed by by the IDF. This was really funny. And I did check with people in Gaza, and they also confirmed to me that they could not hear the speech. So, you know, their ears were spared. He was mudded. Yet another spectacular L for the Israeli occupational force. Yet another spectacular L for the diaper brigades, piss reel, whatever you want to call it. Now, the speech is long, it's convoluted, and it's more so about flexing, okay? Also, shouts out the quadriplegic. Thank you for the 69 gifted subs, and Valorant as well for the 19 gifted subs. Again, Netanyahu bragging about hijacking cell phones in Gaza to force the Palestinians. He's starving to hear a speech that half the United Nations walked out on. What more can you say, says Prem Tucker. Correct. And also, this is yet another instance of Israel looking to the Nazi regime these historically did to the Jews and saying, well, that seems like a great idea. We should do that in our own Holocaust. The photo, this is from Rami Abdul from Euromed HR, Human Rights. The photo shows Israeli army trucks with loudspeakers broadcasting Netanyahu's speech to displace Gaza residents. Where did the Israeli army get this idea? From the Nazi German army, which spread Hitler's propaganda in concentration camps. I swear to God, it is literally 1-to-1, dude. The only exception is that there is just not a gas chamber. That's it. Like, it is the same kind of mechanized death taking place inside of a ghetto, a ghettoized population, a concentration camp. Yes, yet they're being starved to death. They're being bombed into oblivion. It is a 1-to-1. Bro, come on. The Japanese do the same thing for political messaging. This is not new. Dog, you just brought up another fascist government. You just brought up another fascist government. Yeah, no shit. I know. This one is unique, though, because literally this is a very significant historical event that impacted the entire Jewish world. Okay? That's why I'm saying they're literally looking at shit that the Nazis did to their great-grandparents and going, this is my shit. I like it. I'm going to do it myself, to the newfound enemies. By the way, for additional context, see if you can spot the similarities. The Nazis tortured the prisoners whom they had branded as nationless fellows with speeches by Nazi party leaders. All this had been introduced with hours and hours of speeches by Hitler and recordings of march music. Anyway, the speech is ass. I don't even know if I want to watch the whole thing. It's a European Jewish experience, not world Jews. True. Fair. But it's so consequential and so impactful that like every Jewish person around the planet has felt it, is what I mean. Like it's something that has impacted every single Jewish person culturally. So I hope they show a crowd shot. That's what I want to show from this speech first and foremost.
Please order in the hall. Please order in the hall. Please order in the hall.
Cucks.
Please order.
Danny Danon, please clap. What are you doing? You are Hamas. You are Hamas. All of you. You are all Hamas. I am Danny Danon. Why are you leaving? No politic here. No politic. Israel number one. Israel number one. Anti-Semitism. It's like upvoting your own YouTube comment. Yeah, true. True. See, there are people who love Israel. I love Israel. Danny Danon. Do you practice in the shower? No, I've just heard his dumbass so many times that it's just burned into my conscience. Do not walk away.
Order in the hall.
You are walking away anti-Semitically. You are all Hamas. It's wild that, yeah, someone pointed this out, but it's wild that there's traffic walking out. That's how many people are walking out, that they're like bumping into one another. Oh, man. Now, of course, this is still symbolism, but it is consequential. It is meaningful. Even if it's like the conditional state recognition is still consequential, it's still meaningful. These things take time. Remember, I understand why people are frustrated. Just remember, if you're frustrated, that means that our job is not over, okay? You just got to keep pushing. You just got to keep bringing more allies to the cause, more people to the forefront, more people to engage in direct action, more people to mobilize. It is what it is, okay? That's why I always say whenever I see new polls that come out where people are like 56% of Americans think Israel is committing a genocide. 60% of Americans don't like Israel, stuff like that. I'm like, it's not enough. Okay, it's not enough. We got to get those numbers up. And I'll be talking about that in a little bit because a new poll just came out. Those are rookie numbers. It is a real shame that Americans are still asleep.
Please order in the hall and please be seated.
Why didn't the UN arrest them? Because the UN has no power, okay? He's in the United States of America, he's in New York, and he's Trump's daddy. So that shit's not happening, okay? It's like asking, why did the UN not arrest Donald Trump? By the way, they brought in hype men in anticipation for this. The General Assembly Hall is mostly empty as Netanyahu speaks, with many delegations having walked out. But the audience gallery above the hall, where member states can bring guests, is full, suggesting Israel bought a cheering squad as it did last year to compensate for the empty hall. Oh, I would say this is a shameful experience for Israel, but I don't think they have the capacity to feel shame. Because honestly, if you're a fucking genocidaire, like you've already lost your own personal humanity in the process, and also the capacity to feel shame. They are literally view-botting, bro. They're view-botting IRL. Who the fuck does that? It is the most pathetic thing. We are loved. We are still loved. Everyone loves Israel. Everyone. It's so fake, bro. It's so fake. They did this with Eurovision too. They do this all the goddamn time, okay? They do this non-fucking stop. Anyway, there were some lowlights and some highlights. I'm not going to listen to the whole thing, but during Netanyahu's speech at the UN, Israeli platforms started reporting that wounded occupation soldiers were being transferred to the Beilinson hospital via helicopter following a security incident in Gaza. The Quds translation says, platforms for settlers say that helicopters of the occupation army are transporting injured soldiers from Gaza, coinciding with Netanyahu's speech. The IDF has identified significant progress in the capabilities of the Houthis, including in the developments of the factories underground. This is another interesting development for the record. In remote areas and as secret projects for the benefit of self-production of missiles and drones in Yemen using Iranian knowledge. Not only Iranian knowledge, but real ball knowers know that is also DPRK knowledge. DPRK knowledge of tunnel systems were handed off to the Iranian government, which is now using that same knowledge for the Ansar Allah movement in Yemen. Okay? Efforts to reach a security pact between Syria and Israel have hit a last-minute snag over Israel's demands that it be allowed to open a humanitarian corridor to Syria's southern province of Suwaida. Four sources familiar with the talk said to Reuters. And despite the loudspeaker operation so far, residents in Gaza complain in Telegram groups that they hear nothing from Netanyahu's speech, which is supposed to be broadcast on loudspeakers deployed by the IDF. Anyway, Barry says, I've been following all of Netanyahu's speeches in international forums for 2 decades. I don't recall a worse and more failed speech than this. even in terms of his stuttering and lack of fluency in delivery. This is from Channel 12. He brought a bunch of the idiotic and racist fucking placards, as you are familiar with. Also, in preparation for his speech at the UN, the Prime Minister's office launched an unprecedented propaganda campaign in New York, before I forget to mention that as well, with dozens of billboards and trucks around the UN building and in Times Square bearing the message, remember October 7. Okay? That was their big push. That was their big fucking push. They were like, remember October 7, October 7. They had the fucking trucks lining up. They had the trucks lining up all over New York City being like, remember October 7, remember October 7, which I don't think people are going to be thinking about that right now. So they were view-botting with the trucks as well. Yeah, he brought back the curse, showing all of the enemies of Israel. So far, Netanyahu has listed everyone they have killed in the last 2 years, and now he's praising Trump for bombing Iran. UNSC sanctions on Iran must be snapped back. What I ask you to do, hold up your phone, zoom in, and you will too see why we win and why we must win. Of course, he had a QR code on that little button that he had. Well, not little. That large-ass fucking button that he wore, which I guess would beam you propaganda directly to your phone. Do not scan that shit, by the way. I do not want whatever kind of fucking insane fishing operation Israel is doing with that shit. I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole, and I don't suggest you do either. Netanyahu is now speaking directly to the prisoners of war via the loudspeakers that he set up around Gaza. Nothing interesting, just a PR stunt. Netanyahu is now quizzing the General Assembly. Who shouts death to America? Iran, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, all of the above. Fucking idiot. So stupid. So fucking desperate. Anyway, and then he turns around and says, who has murdered Americans and Europeans in cold blood? Al-Qaeda, Hamas, Hezbollah, Iran, all of the above. Ironic, because he could ask that question and put Israel in there as well. And Israel would also be a part of the all of the above, for the record. I'm noticing a lack of ISIS in here. I am noticing a lack of ISIS in here. Are they... What's the reason for that, I wonder? Much to consider. Anyway, I'm sorry to say here, yet over time, many world leaders buckled. They buckled under the pressure of a biased media, radical Islamists, and anti-Semitic mobs. When the going got tough, you caved. And he just like was complaining about how world leaders are caving to the principle of democracy that they must maintain, because their fucking populations are obviously screaming bloody murder at Israel's bloody murder. He says, you condemn us, you embargo us, and you wage lawfare against us. This is not an indictment of Israel. It's an indictment of you. And I do think it's an indictment of everyone around the globe. As Greta Thunberg said yesterday, Greta Thunberg said she's not afraid of Israel. She's afraid of a world that turns a blind eye to the atrocities that Israel is committing. And it is an indictment for sure. It's a Twitter post, my dude. What? Not all Israelinas don't back the genocide. Chill, stop it, forget it. They are not. It's a Twitter post, my dude. Wait, what? Are you okay? It's a summarization in the form of a Twitter thread of the things that Benjamin Netanyahu said. I think it's a much better way to get the full vibes instead of having to listen to this fucking demon, okay? Oh, you mean the QR code? Yeah, I'm not touching that. I don't give a fuck.
Iran, to Israel rather, an immortal threat to the civilized world.
Yeah.
We lift.
Classic speech. We're not fighting. We're not fighting for us. We're not fighting for an exterminationist principle here. We're fighting to preserve Western supremacy. We're fighting to defend the world from the scary forces of evil, Islam. That's what it is. We're fighting Islam. It's all of yours. Okay, this war is a war for all of you. Okay. Anyway, Zionism Observer reports. Let's talk about the new Israeli atrocity porn website. They promoted their new gore picture website at Netanyahu's UN speech with a large button that has a QR code on it. The code was also promoted on rented trucks driving around New York City. The QR code directs the visitor to Saturday7october.com. remove the space before .com to make the URL functional. The domain itself was purchased by GoDaddy from GoDaddy less than 2 weeks after October 7. Classic. The website was delivered to me using a VPN set from New York City from a data center just northeast of Wichita, Kansas, USA. This is a Cloudflare data center, but I believe the site itself is hosted on Google Cloud. The technology powering the website isn't interesting. There is a little bit of tracking software, but not more than most other websites. The website itself is just atrocity porn, photos and videos of mutilated bodies. They have a page entitled Massacre of Soldiers for some reason. When I set my VPN to Israel, the page refused to load. Under the hood site returned a 403 forbidden response code. Wait, what? The QR code, if you are in Israel, doesn't even work? That's funny. Anyway, don't visit it. It's very sus. I'm not touching that shit. Like I said, don't go there. Don't do it. Anyway. Oh, Jesus. This atrocity porn website seems to be just another example of the current state of Zionist propaganda flailing. Because remember, and this is very important to understand, what Israel has done post-October 7 is a million times worse than October 7. And therefore, them consistently going back to October 7 to be like, this is why we're doing it, this is why we're doing it, is not going to work. The reason why it's not going to work is because for the past 2 years, we have seen you do on October 7 on the Palestinian population every day, much worse than October 7, as a matter of fact, destroying literally all functioning forms of government, killing children, slaughtering women, blowing up every fucking hospital. Like, what are you talking about, October 7? What the fuck do you mean, October 7? This shit is not going to work. Of course it's not going to work. It's ridiculous. If you think all human beings are equal, if you think that the Israeli population are human beings, and you think the Palestinian population is also human beings, you are going to look at how fucking heavily the scales are tilted in one direction. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous to say, like, remember this, this is why we're doing it, this is why we're doing it, over and over again. You're starving an entire population of people. You're blocking medical supplies from going into the Strip. You've blown up every hospital. You've blown up every school. You've assassinated everyone that works in the civil governance division that tries to keep things together amidst the genocide. You've slaughtered tens of thousands of children. You've wounded hundreds of thousands of children gravely. And in the process, you have lied. You have stolen. Of course, no one is going to fuck with you ever again. You've killed hundreds of journalists. It's ridiculous. Israel has done every bad possible thing you can do. It's like they've looked at what the Nazis did during the Holocaust as a checklist of what they can accomplish against the Palestinian population. Completely ridiculous. You've even bombed Qatar, a country that is supposed to be a neutral territory for mediation. You've bombed the capital of Qatar. Only a couple miles away are 10,000 American soldiers. That's where U.S. Central Command is. It's fucking ridiculous. This kind of shit, no matter how hard mainstream media pushes for it, is not going to work, is not going to bring back support for Israel. As a matter of fact, every time they try this shit, I think more and more people go, enough is enough, man. Stop. Stop the genocide. Stop the Holocaust. It's fucking over.
A dark cloud that could have claimed millions and millions of lives.
There was a funny moment, too.
But, ladies and
there was a couple funny moments where there's a moment where he demands that people laugh at his joke, which obviously doesn't work. And then there's another moment where he's talking about, Palestinians celebrating October 7, dancing on rooftops, which I feel like is a flex, right?
We must remain vigilant. We must remain absolutely clear-minded and vigilant. We must not allow Iran to rebuild its military nuclear capacities. Iran's stockpiles of enriched...
Shut the fuck up.
And the bold decisions we took, Israel rebounded from its darkest day to deliver one of the most stunning military comebacks in history.
That's all the peanut gallery that they brought in for claps.
We're not done yet. The final elements, the final remnants of Hamas are holed up in Gaza City.
By the way, his own authorities, his own military authorities have actually directly contradicted this idiotic narrative that, They haven't even been able to put a dent in the Hamas militancy. The Palestinian resistance has actually gone back to its initial numbers pre-October 7 in the process of this genocide, because understandably more and more people have taken up arms against Israel. So they failed. They failed spectacularly on every fucking front. It's so unimaginably cooked. Anyway, here it is. Him flexing.
Half the Houthi leadership in Yemen, gone. Yahya Sinwar in Gaza.
Yahya Sinwar in Gaza. Yahya.
Gone. Hasan Nasrallah in Lebanon, gone. The Assad regime in Syria, gone. Those militias in Iraq, well, they're still deterred. And their leaders, if they attack Israel, will also be gone. And for Iran's top military commanders and its top atomic bomb scientists, well, they're gone too.
There was that. I want to see the... oh, here it is. This is where he says, Palestinians celebrated the October 7 attacks.
This week, the leaders of France, Britain, Australia, Canada, and other countries unconditionally recognized a Palestinian state. They did so after the horrors committed by Hamas on October 7th. Horrors praised on that day by nearly 90% of the Palestinian population. Now, let me say that again. Nearly 90% of Palestinians supported the attack on...
Where is this number coming from? And by the way, I wonder why. I know he fucking just pulled that out of his ass, but I'm sure plenty of people did. I wonder why. Really, really strange. I thought that these guys loved Israel and they hated Hamas. I wonder why they seemingly don't love Israel. Yeah, I saw this. BB saying they danced on the rooftops regarding Palestinian response to October 7. You are playing with fire, sir. I said, this is like when Saudi Arabia threatened to do 9/11 again. Like, that's him dabbing on us, I think. That's what it feels like to me when he's talking about people dancing on 9/11.
October 7th. It's not supported only. They celebrated it. They danced on the rooftops. They threw candies. That's both in Gaza and in Judea, Samaria, the West Bank, as you call it. And it's just the way they celebrated another horror, 9/11. They danced on the rooftops.
See, that's a flex. See, I don't know if that's him tweaking the algo. I don't know if that's him tweaking the algo for dancing 9/11 Israel. So when you Google it, this comes up. But that's crazy. That's a crazy callback. That's a crazy callback for him to do. Okay? That's just, it comes across like he's flexing.
They cheered. They threw candy. You know what message the leaders who recognize the Palestinian state this week sent to the Palestinians? It's a very clear message. Murdering Jews pays off. Well, I have a message for these leaders. When the most savage terrorists on earth...
This is just a recognition of L's, in my opinion. The way he's like... By the way, when he says the Palestinians... When he says the Palestinians were dancing on the rooftops on 9/11, that's a idiotic statement twofold, because the majority of the Palestinian population living in Gaza was not alive during 9/11. Okay? Gaza is a very young population. The majority of the Palestinian population living in Gaza before October 7 was under the age of 18. Okay? So, like, any kind of statement like this is so fucking stupid.
Are effusively praising your decision. You didn't do something right. You did something wrong, horribly wrong.
Yeah, also, given the attitude, given the overall sentiment against Israel right now, any invocation of the Nazis, and I said this in the beginning, I said this on like October 8, 2023, I said, if I was Israel, I would not be making ISIS comparisons and I would not be making Nazi comparisons, because before you know it, people are going to be like, Nazi comparisons. I wonder which side in this conflict, if you want to call it that, resembles the military power that the Nazis had and the carnage that they created for a captive population of civilians. So now, because he's still operating on pre-October 7 brain, he's over here talking about like, he's over here easily making invocations to Nazi Germany and the Jews, not realizing that for virtually everyone with 3 acting brain cells, they hear that and go, yeah, that's you. You're the Nazi in this equation.
What, did the Nazis ask the Jews to leave, kindly leave, go out? Did others, you want me to name all the genocidal leaders of history?
Do you think he actually believes what he's saying? I don't think he fucking has a soul. He doesn't even have a soul.
Go one by one. Did anyone do this? Did they say, get out so we can come in? Of course not. What?
Interesting. This is not the first time, but it seems the second time that he is invoking Nazis as a comparison to himself. Interesting. Last week, he brought up Joseph Goebbels for some weird fucking reason. And it wasn't to shit on the Nazis. He used a Goebbels quote positively. And it kind of feels like it's happening here as well. Why didn't anyone arrest him when he's there? Because it's Israel, man. Are you kidding me? Our administration sucks the shit out of his asshole. Get the fuck out of here. What are you talking about? Anyway, I'm going to ask a simple question. Would a country committing genocide plead with a civilian nation to get out of harm's way? We are trying to get them out, but Hamas is trying to keep them in. This charge is so baseless. Did the Nazis ask Jews to leave? That's the part that we just saw in the speech. Okay? The irony, of course, is they are literally killing everyone. And yes, the Nazis did actually initially have a deportation policy, the Madagascar plan. So, you know, once again, if I'm Israel, in the midst of this modern day Holocaust that virtually everyone with a fucking conscience can see clearly, I wouldn't be making such comparisons so easily, because it's just another reminder of the crimes against humanity that you are currently committing in an identical fashion to the Nazis. Netanyahu's talking about 9/11. Giving the Palestinians a state 1 mile from Jerusalem after October 7 is like giving Al-Qaeda a state 1 mile from New York City after 9/11. This is madness. I call on the Lebanese government to begin direct negotiations with Israel. If Lebanon takes genuine action to disarm Hezbollah, I'm sure we can achieve a sustainable peace. By the way, the Lebanese population was polled on the matter, and they do not want Lebanon to disarm. They do not want Lebanon to disarm, and they do not want Hezbollah to disarm either. So the majority of the Lebanese population, Shia or not, actually do not want Hezbollah to disarm at all, which of course makes a lot of sense. Speech is done. No major surprises like Israeli media was hinting at. Seemed like he wanted to lay the groundwork for next year, which will be focused on dismantling the Axis, including the possibility of severely escalating their aggression in Lebanon. I do personally think that there won't be a next year for Benjamin Netanyahu. I do not think that he will be delivering a speech at the United Nations next year. That's my take. Despite the loudspeaker operation, also, that was another failure. Hamas, in response to the speech at the UNGA by the war criminal Netanyahu, was wanted by the ICC, a speech boycotted by the majority of world's nations, leaving him isolated and speaking only to himself and a handful of supporters, we affirm the following. It is paradoxical that a war criminal wanted by the International Criminal Court is permitted to lecture at the United Nations on justice, humanity, and rights, while he daily violates and breaches them in the Gaza Strip. Netanyahu's repetition of this propaganda and lies regarding the events of October 7 is merely a backward retreat. Meanwhile, the term anti-Semitism has become a tattered peg on which he hangs his rejection of international positions condemning the genocide he has been committing. His attempts to feign sorrow for his captives and his ridiculous display of claiming to address them through loudspeakers embody a sick colonial mentality. He alone is responsible for obstructing the path to an agreement, guaranteeing their release through his obstinacy. His announcement regarding his aim to control the Gaza Strip and implant a puppet government is pure fantasy that will not be realized, and our Palestinian people, who have always proven their steadfastness and rejection of all forms of subordination, will not allow it. The Hague Group, co-chaired by South Africa and Colombia, there are 34 governments that have agreed on a joint action plan to stop the genocide in Gaza, by the way. Germany says the UN will sanction Iran after fruitless nuclear talks. Germany is looking to widen sanctions beyond snapback measures. The IDF is furious with the prime minister, a senior official has said. The loudspeaker speech over Hamas's head was a serious mistake. The IDF admitted that most of the loudspeakers were taken from IDF bases, whose daily role is to alert soldiers to red alarms. Oh, brother. Incredible things are happening. Incredible. Pure comedy. Piss reel. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, also, here's another mask-off moment for those who say, like, oh, not everyone in Israel is against this, like, or a lot of people hate Benjamin Netanyahu. Yeah, they might hate Benjamin Netanyahu, but they don't necessarily hate what the IDF is doing in Gaza. They know exactly what the IDF is doing in Gaza. They have access to it on the internet, and they fucking love it. Do not act like that is not the case, please.
My opposition to a Palestinian state is not simply my policies or my government's policy. It's the policy of the state and people of the state of Israel.
Yeah. So when people try to create new off-ramps, when liberal Zionists will inevitably start reading the writing on the wall and start making it seem like, oh, this is just Benjamin Netanyahu doing his thing. Please make no mistake. We don't like this. There is no universal acknowledgement here. There is no universal support here. That's a fucking lie. Okay? The Israeli public is consistently polled on this matter. Now, they will change their attitude. They will. As I have said over and over again, international pressure works in that way. How? Because boycotts, divestments, and sanctions that are being demanded against the state of Israel will cause Israeli society to not recognize the humanity of Palestinians. Of course, that's never going to happen. However, it will make them realize that they are a fucking pariah state and therefore reconsider their genocidal fervor. This is exactly what happened in apartheid South Africa as well. This is why every little step, no matter how symbolic or fruitless it may seem, matters. Okay? I want fast action. I want all of the international community to get together and create a coalition of the willing to offer unconditional support to every single humanitarian that seeks to rip apart the Israeli blockade and go to Gaza and to stop by force, by putting their bodies on the line, to stop Israel's genocide. I want that to happen too. But I understand in the absence of that, these little things still matter, because little by little, it creates a pressure cooker for Israeli society, that there are repercussions for continuing a genocide. You will lose your treats. You will lose your regular standing. People will never look at an invocation of the nation state of Israel the same ever again. People will reconsider their stances on the matter, and it will get to a point where Israel's name is only invoked in a negative fashion. And when that happens, when you lose your Eurovision, when you lose this false notion that like the rest of the planet is perfectly fine with this genocide, when you lose all of the academic freedoms that you had, the freedom to travel freely elsewhere, however you see fit, ultimately, you will be forced to reconsider. It's pure selfishness, I know, but it does not matter. This is perhaps the only peaceful way to change the outcome. And I'll take it. I'll take anything. The full quote cited a Knesset quote. My opposition to a Palestinian state is not simply my policy or my government's policy. It's the policy of the state and the people of the state of Israel. It's not a fringe group. It's not the prime minister or extreme parties to his right. We know. I want you to grasp something else that is also distorted in the media. I say this is not only in my name or the name of my government, but on behalf of all the people of Israel. Last year, there was a vote in the Knesset, our parliament, whether or not to oppose the imposition of a Palestinian state. You want to guess what the results were? Out of the 120 members of our parliament, 99 voted against. Only 9 supported. That's over 90%. It's not a fringe group. It's not the prime minister who is extreme or is held hostage by extreme parties to his right. So this is him hearing the liberal Zionist defenses. This is him being like, Bernie Sanders, fuck you. Do you understand? This is him directly shooting a shot at everyone that tries to design a liberal Zionist off-ramp for the day after. He's saying, no, no, no. It's not just me. It's not just the right-wing parties in the Knesset. It's all of us. We all want the shit. And he's right. He's fucking right. Because he's right. And he has proven right over and over again when he has done additional conquests, no matter how silly or insane or belligerent it seems, like when he bombed Lebanon, when he bombed Iran. Whenever these sorts of things happen, the Israeli public stops even protesting Benjamin Netanyahu for a brief moment and they go, all right, we're on board again. Okay? The thing that holds Israeli society together at this very moment is the continued punishment and genocide of the Palestinian population. It is quite literally the only glue that holds Israeli public together. So it is pertinent on all of us to ensure that Israeli society recognizes that that glue that holds them together is causing everyone to despise them. This is why BDS matters, okay? Because if they do not oppose this genocide on the humanity of the Palestinians, which is why they should be opposing it, then they will oppose the genocide because of the societal repercussions that they experience. This is why I've also been in support of
Last month,
This is why I've also been in support of what the Ansar Allah regime had done in terms of implementing a blockade that took out one of their fucking ports. You do a genocide, there are going to be economic repercussions. You cannot have a genocide go unpunished. Historically, the repercussions have been military intervention. Okay? That's it. And while Russia, a massive country, was able to design as a part of being considered a foreign adversary to America, Russia was able to design their entire society against this kind of sanctions regime, implementation of sanctions and whatnot. Israel has never factored this ever before, and therefore they would be severely distraught. Israeli society would not be able to exist without unconditional support from the Western world. They can't. They don't have the runway for it. They don't have the industry for it. They do not have the numbers for it. This is a reality that Israel Hayom has also presented. An Israeli newspaper, Israel Hayom, the runway, the limited runway that they have for weapons. Slowly but surely, little by little, the embargoes that are coming in from Western nations, with the exception of the United States of America, of course, but slowly but surely, these embargoes are actually hurting Israel's continued efforts to maintain this genocide. I've been saying this since day one, and all of these fucking dumbass naysayers kept repeating over and over again, Israel's a sovereign nation. They'll get the weapons from elsewhere. I hope that they get banned from everything. Okay? I hope they get banned from everything. They deserve to get banned from everything far before October 7, for the record. What a deep shame for the entire world that it only took a straightforward Holocaust for them to open up their eyes to the evil doings of Israel and the United States. Israel is facing a growing cultural boycott over its genocide against and an assault on Gaza. European football body UEFA is reportedly set to vote on a measure to ban Israel from competing, potentially impacting the team's qualification matches for the FIFA World Cup, while participating countries in the Eurovision Song Contest are set to vote on whether to expel Israel from the 2026 event. They should. They should have done so already. That's why it's hard for me to look at like even the symbolic conditional state recognition from European nation states as anything but a step in the positive direction. On the one hand, I understand it's ridiculous. The conditions are silly, and it still takes away autonomy from the Palestinians, which is the major problem here, right? No recognition for the humanity of the Palestinians. No recognition for their needs of sovereignty. But on the other hand, all of this still factors into the pressure cooker, these outside pressures that expand the permission structure to say, fuck Israel. What are you doing? You're doing a genocide. You're a genocidal nation. You're a Nazi country doing the modern version of the Holocaust. How dare you? Little by little, this chips away, and it creates outside pressure on the Israeli public to recalculate their unlimited need and appetite for bloodshed. This is why it matters, okay? If Israeli society that broadly supports the extermination, Palestinians won't oppose the genocide on the recognition Palestinian, they will be forced to reconsider a pariah to the rest of the world. I'm going to say, if Israeli society that broadly supports the extermination of Palestinians won't oppose the genocide on the recognition of Palestinian humanity, they will be forced to reconsider their support of it because it makes Israel and Israelis a pariah to the rest of the world. Yes, I know the Des Moines public school superintendent was taken into custody by ICE chatters. I know. I'm going to fucking talk about it. Jesus Christ. I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to everything. Okay? I know. Please. Small typo, if Israeli society that broadly supports the extermination of Palestinians won't oppose the genocide on the recognition of Palestinian humanity, they will be forced, to reconsider their support of it because it makes Israel and Israelis a pariah to the rest of the world. Thank you, W Chatter, for catching that. Yeah, this is what's going to happen.
May Allah awaken
this is what's
the
happening.
people and help them to see the evil doings of Israel and the United States.
EU is Israel's largest trader and partner, by the way. Israel is not Russia. It can't have a self-sufficient economy. EU could squeeze Israel and end the war without a problem. Italy's USB Union will host trade unionists from ports in Spain, France, Greece, Cyprus, Morocco, and Germany to hammer out a joint strategy, by the way. They're fucking cooked. I'm telling you right now. They are so cooked. Because remember, how many times have I said this over the course of the past 23 months? Today is the day that Israel will be its most popular around the globe. Tomorrow, it will be less popular than it is today. And if Israel's reputation is in the fucking dirt today, what makes you think it's going to turn around tomorrow? It will not. That's why I kept repeating, you must keep pushing. You must keep pushing. You do not have to concede on this. That's why I stuck my fucking head down and I said, fuck it, we ball. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep pushing. We're going to keep protesting. We're going to keep showing up. And eventually, through that stubbornness, we will cause others who have turned a blind eye to this atrocity to change their perspective and to join the cause as well. That's it. This is why when you match up with even American politicians and their perspective 2 years ago to their perspective now, there is a dramatic attitude shift. Too little, too late, you might say, but there is one nonetheless. This is why when people were getting fired from their jobs in Hollywood for recognizing the reality that we all recognized even back then, now you got Jennifer Lawrence being like, yep, it's a genocide, when asked the question. As Zaid Jilani says, saying this as recent as 2 years ago would have gotten you dropped by agents, blacklisted by major studios. Overton window is shifted enough where white bread mainstream actors can now say it. Jennifer Lawrence, does anyone have the video? I want to watch it. Here.
An actress.
Jennifer Lawrence speaks up for Palestine at the San Sebastian Film Festival. Let's take a look at what she had to say.
In a festival, but outside here, the other day there was people protesting for what's happening in Palestine. Kids are dying. Not only kids, but kids.
Remember, the scumbags like Scarlett Johansson, who was asked, do you want to keep being a UN ambassador or do you want to keep getting a fucking SodaStream sponsorship, which is a BDS company. It's an Israeli company. Those people thought that they could forever be popular if they stood by Israel. Okay? They thought, they miscalculated. They thought that as long as they maintain support, things are going to get better again. They were fucking wrong. They saw how much support Israel got after October 7. They were confident that it would continue. It was Oxfam, not UN, sorry. They thought that they could keep up the censorship regime. They thought that they could keep contextualizing the violence that Israel was engaging in. Okay? The mainstream media thought they could keep up appearances in the same fucking way that they had done so in previous Israeli sieges on the Gaza Strip. So many people did not exhibit the moral courage in that moment. So many people were utterly terrified of losing their jobs, and they either kept quiet or worse, stood by Israel, knowing full well that it was going to be a genocidal conquest once again. They were fucking wrong.
Kids are dying in Palestine, but also they're dying in Ukraine and in other countries. I would like to ask you, how worried you are for the future of our kids and your kids? Thank you so much.
I'm terrified, and it's mortifying. What's happening is no less than a genocide, and it's unacceptable. I'm terrified for my children, for all of our children. On top of everything else, what makes me so sad is that this disrespect and the discourse in American politics right now is going to be normal to them. I mean, the kids who are voting right now at 18, it's going to be totally normal to them that politics has no integrity. Politicians lie. There's no empathy. And everybody needs to remember that when you ignore what's happening on one side of the world, it won't be long until it's on your side as well. And I wish that there.
She's a fan of the Blowback podcast. She read the New York Times op-ed that I wrote. Yeah, that's what happened. She saw that. She's a big fan of Amy Cesar. That's what it is. She's been reading Fanon.
There was something that I could say, something that I could do to fix this extremely complex and disgraceful situation that breaks my heart. But the reality is...
I don't think it's courageous to call it a genocide now. In fact, if they don't call it a genocide now, they will just lose their jobs and get boycotted by the people. I think that Miss Rachel's statement on that was correct. It's getting to a point where you will be punished for not calling it a genocide. You will be seen as a genocide denier. We're not fully there yet, but like I said, every bit counts, okay? Every instance counts. Every time someone comes out with a prominent platform and says, this is a genocide, this is unacceptable, okay? It matters. Jennifer Lawrence said, Amy Schumer's choice to use her voice to speak for justice puts her under immense fire. I wouldn't say she navigates it so much as she throws her middle fingers up and walks away from negative comments like a gas station fire in a Michael Bay movie. That was on April 30th, 2024. Read this as a welcomed tide shift. Jennifer Lawrence was literally supporting the Nazi actors and comedians in the end of 2023 and the first half of 2024. I know. I'm not saying she's a fucking fedayeen. She's going to strap on the banner of the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine and get into the front of the fucking flotilla, okay? Just take it in stride. Take it in fucking stride. That's it. That's it. Wow, you mean to tell me that a rich, out-of-touch Hollywood actress has now read the room and realized that a statement that she would have made, such as this one, only a couple months ago would probably still cause so much backlash that she would literally fucking lose her job. This is like Moist Critical, okay? You know how I say Moist Critical is my normie meter or my centrism meter? Like, this is like Moist Critical coming out and making a video and being like, guys, the McFucksticks over there at Israel are obviously doing a genocide. And we got to put a stop to it. It's like they're melting babies over there. I can't believe it. You know, I put my black t-shirt on instead of the white one today because I wanted to talk about the severity of the crisis at hand. Like, when you see that, when you see the Gaza situation is crazy YouTube video, know that things have changed so dramatically that people are no longer fucking fearful. Okay? That's it. That's what it is. That's what this is. Because remember, use me as a measuring stick if you want to. For the last fucking year, when I was saying this shit, the reaction from all the apolitical normies was, how dare you say this? You're a fucking terrorist. You're a fucking Islamist fundamentalist. You're a terrorist. Why don't you go and die in Gaza? Over and over again. Those fucking cries have quieted down quite a bit, haven't you? Haven't you noticed? Why? Because those fucking normies also have recognized that they were wrong, okay? What happened? Where are those motherfuckers at now? Where are those motherfuckers at now? Where are they at? I promise you, it's happening a lot faster than one would expect. It's happening even faster than I expected. I understand that change takes time, unimaginably long periods of time with tremendous amounts of torment. Okay? I said this. They went especially hard on you to preempt the wave change. Yeah, they did. They did. Fuck it. I don't even hate the motherfuckers that did that. Okay? As long as they now take it to the streets, that's fine. That's fine by me. Okay? Maybe others are not so understanding and I can't shit on them for it. Okay? I know plenty of you will never forgive and never forget, but I know that there are external pressures always, right? There's always external pressures. That's why you got to take these fucking things in stride, okay? It is what it is. That's why I always told you, just keep your head down, keep pushing. Your cause is just. Here we are. And the same goes for every fucking thing that this administration is doing. And it's not just about the genocide over there. It's about the fascism over here too. For the first 9 months of this administration, every single person in our immediate vicinity, in the space that we are, terrified of saying something because they were fearful of the repercussions. This created an environment where only right-wing voices were heard. That's why I was fucking out here 1v25ing motherfuckers, because the only people that spoke were right-wingers that said, this is all awesome. ICE deportations, sign me up. I'm going to do fucking Pokemon hunts. And anyone that spoke out at that time would be pushed aside, would be fought back against, would get doxxed, would get fucking harassed endlessly. So it created an asymmetry. You didn't get to hear, for the apolitical people on the outside looking in, it created this false sense of security and a false sense of popularity for right-wing ideals and right-wing values. I tried behind closed doors to talk to people, to say, look, you guys have to say something. I know you don't agree with this shit. You have to fucking say something. They didn't, because they were worried. I don't fault those people for being fearful. The expectation from me was never going to be for those people to just like put themselves in the fucking crosshairs in the line of fire. But we are here now. So find that courage within you. If you're watching, if you're a content creator, if you're an artist, find that courage within you now, because we do have the numbers. Okay? You brought up Palestine in your oldest video, YouTube video, 7 years worth of vindication. What is this? Like all the times that I've talked about Palestine, is that what you're showing here? All the way back from like November 2018. Ilhan Omar wasn't being anti-Semitic with Noah Cohen. See, that's the funniest part about this, is that you go back,
Palestine and more militant
motherfuckers. It's still the same motherfuckers, bro. It's me and Noah Cohen. It's me and Michael Jamal Brooks, my goat. Rest in power. It's me and Michael Treacy, which is crazy. That's a wild one. How long until do you condemn Hamas turns into do you condemn Israel? I literally said that it was going to happen. That's where we're at now. That's where we're fucking at now. We're there now. I told you it was going to get there. That's why you had to take it in stride when these motherfuckers were making an ass out of themselves. Okay? Cementing their legacy as defenders of Israel by striking back at all of Israel's critics while simultaneously presenting themselves as the right way to oppose Israel. All of those people cemented their legacy. They were so proud of the videos that they made. They were so proud What happened? Where are they at now? They're apologizing. That's where they're at.
And if the FC...
What is this? Now, of course, there's still a bunch of fucking freaks out there. Make no mistake. Liev Schreiber, Mayim Bialik, and Deborah Messing are among more than 1,200 entertainment figures who have signed an open letter denouncing the call to boycott of Israeli film institutions over the war in Gaza. We know the power of film. We know the power of story. That is why we cannot stay silent when a story is turned into a weapon, when lies are dressed up as justice, when artists are misled into amplifying anti-Semitic propaganda. The pledge circulated under the banner of Film Workers for Palestine is not an act of conscience. It is a document of misinformation that advocates for arbitrary censorship and the erasure of art. To censor the very voices trying to find common ground in expressing humanity. Suck my dick. Okay? There are always going to be crazy people. There are always going to be crazy people out there who are just like completely unable to read the room. Hopped up on fucking fumes, not realizing that the walls are closing in, okay? Fuck them. Let those Nazis reveal themselves. What is this? A very specific list of people, Deborah Messing, Mayim Bialik, Sacha Baron Cohen, and 1,200 people you've never heard of are about to publish an open letter about how Hollywood is Hamas. Matt said this. And then boom, there it is. They were wrong about, he was wrong about fucking Sacha Baron Cohen, though. Even Sacha Baron Cohen has like a semblance of self-awareness, it seems. American celebrities condemn the collective punishment of Israeli film industry, but not the collective punishment of the Palestinian people, or in Deborah Messing's case, actively cheer it on. Slowly but surely, they will be left in the dark. They will be left alone, and people will not fucking forget where they stood. Also, this was funny. Hebrew sources, widespread anger among Israelis after Netanyahu and his wife appeared in the colors of the Palestinian flag. How did he guess 1,200? Because Israel's propaganda apparatus is not exactly subtle. They're very stupid, and it's very bad. And it was, I think, the original number was 1,200 in the last like Palestinian collective. So, of course, what is this? Did you guess who's number one? Jerusalem Post 50 most influential Jews 2025. It's going to be Larry Ellison. Did I get it? Oh, never mind. It was Benjamin Netanyahu. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Damn. Number 2, Trump's Middle East envoy carries a Star of David from a personal tragedy that drives the approach to hostage negotiations. David Barnea, Israel's Mossad chief. Eyal Zamir, IDF chief who led Operation Rising Lion, is now facing his biggest domestic challenge yet. Stephen Miller and Adam Baylor. Oh my God. Howard Lutnick. A real who's who, man. A real who's who of the worst villains. Israel Katz, Gideon Sa'ar, and Ron Dermer. Itamar Ben-Gvir at number 8. Woo! Bro, this is like the war criminal starter pack. I swear to God. Google co-founder who fled Soviet anti-Semitism at age 6 has quietly donated $700 million and returned to AI development full-time for humanity's biggest challenges. Oh, no. Sergey Brin. The team behind Wiz. 4 Israeli friends who met on a bus. The IDF service built the fastest growing software company in history, and Google paid $32 billion for it. Oh, come on. Isaac Herzog, he's got no motion, dude. He's just like literally a puppet that they parade around so people can fucking berate him for the crimes of Israel. That's crazy. Mr. No Motion himself. By the way, the wokest Israeli president, okay? Mr. Anti-Miscegenation. Mr. Jews should not be allowed to race mix with non-Jews. Oh, that's awesome. Aerospace CEO developed the Aero missile system, now leads Israel's largest defense company through record-breaking contracts and profitability. Boaz Levy. Yeah, those things worked real well. Anyway, Adam Friedland was robbed. I agree. 6 Jewish billionaires have quietly become the backbone of Israeli wartime funding and tech innovation, but their approaches couldn't be more different. Bill A. Packman, Michael Bloomberg, Larry Ellison, Michael Dell, Jay Colm, and Mark Benioff. The Air Force chief who eliminated Hezbollah's Hasan Nasrallah has restored Israel's air supremacy, but faces questions about one controversial operation, Tomer Bar. This motherfucker killed thousands in Lebanon, by the way. Thousands. Benny Gantz and Yair Lapid. Two opposition leaders are battling to replace Netanyahu's government, but their rivalry may be their biggest obstacle to forming a unity coalition. Dani Danon, my goat. 4 Jewish diplomats are defending Israel and fighting anti-Semitism on the world's most hostile stages, from the UN to European capitals. Dani Danon. This is a quilt made by Hamas terrorists in the halls of the United Nations. Terror babies have made this Hamas quilt. Look at this quilt. And then it pans over and it's just like children's drawings being like, give peace a chance. Dani Danon. Son of a Jewish father from Belarus, has become Vladimir Putin's most trusted administrator, running Russia's domestic policy. Dude, this is so funny. I love this list, man. They're literally like equal opportunity harm, okay? We love war. We love death. We love destruction. It doesn't matter if it's on the side of U.S. empire or against the United States as well, okay? If there is a party that is doing the wrong, we are on board with it. I love that. Oh, fuck. The education philanthropist has increased his foundation's budget from 24 million to 40 million euros, creating a lifeline for Jewish schools facing unprecedented anti-Semitism. It feels somehow anti-Semitic. Dude, this is the Jerusalem Post. Magen David Adom CEO, who started as a volunteer at 15, revolutionized Israel's emergency response times through groundbreaking systems. Russell Robinson, the Jewish National Fund USA CEO, is building $350 million World Zionist Village in Beersheba while leading the most effective Zionist organization in America, the JNF, for those of you who don't know. Eric D. Fingerhut, the Jewish Federation's leader who raised $850 million for Israel emergency campaigns, has become the architect of North American Jewish community response. Oh my God, they got Lee Zeldin in here. That's crazy. 4 Trump officials are pushing the administration's agenda, while one wears a Star of David ring she never removes, even in the most sensitive diplomatic meetings. See, you said no girls allowed. Turns out Morgan Ortegas, there's a woman on there. Oh, we got Democrats too, baby. 3 Democratic leaders are quietly securing major pro-Israel victories on Capitol Hill. And lo and behold, Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Josh Buttheimer right there, prominent. God, Debbie, please, you are washed, Schultz and Josh Buttheimer. Fuck both of these guys. Oh my Lord. Including one breakthrough that could change how universities handle anti-Semitism. Wendy Friedman, the astrophysicist who measures the universe's expansion rate, is leading. I feel like this person just should probably feel bad to be included in this, because this is just like unironically an astrophysicist. I don't even know what her fucking opinions are about whatever conduct Israel is engaging with. But like, you really, when you have like a normal person on this list, you got to feel kind of bad. You know what I mean? You're like, wait, hold on. I'm a scientist. I don't want to be mentioned with these fucking psychos. You know what I mean? It's just like random scientists catching. Oh, there it is. The Israeli-born physician who became one of the world's top 50 richest people has a controversial vision for the West Bank that divides even her supporters. Miriam fucking Adelson. Also, you got to be pissed if you're Miriam Adelson and you're number 26 on here. Like, really? Debbie Wasserman Schultz got a call out before you? That's crazy. She dumped like $200 million. She is the number one reason why Trump is such a fucking dick rider of Israel. Okay? That's crazy that they put her at number 26. She's washed. The 3 Jewish American business leaders under 50 are reshaping Hollywood and tech. David Ellison, Larry Ellison's son, Brandon Korf, and Adam Newman. With one seeking Israeli residency, another reinventing himself after WeWork. Adam Newman. 4 religious leaders shaped Jewish life from Washington's Capitol Hill to the criminal underworld peace negotiations to ultra-Orthodox resistance. 2 friends who started with a simple conviction 25 years ago have now facilitated the aliyah of 90,000 people from North America directly into the West Bank, by the way. Spearheading aliyah from North America and the UK. Yo, if I'm Rabbi Shmuley, I'm so pissed. They don't even have Amy Schumer on here. They don't even have Rabbi Shmuley on here. Where's Michael Rappaport? The goats. Yeah, by the way, her controversial vision for the West Bank involves making the region's 3.5 million natives, the Palestinians, Untermenschen. Interesting way of describing the permanent enslavement of millions of people. Yeah, she wants permanent annexation of the West Bank. Chuck Schumer in shambles. Yeah, because Trump called him a Palestinian too much. That's what it is. All right, I'm done with this shit. What a fucking awful list of monsters, dude. Fuck him. Feder bitch robbed. He's not Jewish. This is the top list of Jewish people. So no Richie Torres mentioned, no Feder bitch mentioned. They can suck off all they want, but Jerusalem Post is not going to obviously put them in a list of the most influential Jews. Yeah. Oh, this is always interesting who is allowed to say this and who isn't. Larry Ellison, an American citizen who was given millions directly to a foreign army, the IDF, will now control CBS, Paramount, TikTok, and possibly CNN, as he also serves as the backbone of Israel's wartime funding. Yes, this is 100% correct. Larry Ellison was interviewed at a Friends of the IDF gala in Beverly Hills, of course, where he just straight up was like, I love Israel. Of course I have to fucking defend Israel. It's like, you know, all the regular fucking ultra-Zionist talking points that you've ever heard. And now that motherfucker is going to control TikTok and CBS and Paramount and maybe even CNN. Fantastic. Special congrats to U.S. Debbie Wasserman Schultz and U.S. Representative Josh Gottheimer for making the Jerusalem Post top 50 list, singled out for their excellence in lobbying for Israel in D.C. Also, Gottheimer is not from Florida, but from New York. Infographic, the 6 companies that own almost all of the media. Disney, National, wait, what is this? This is Redstone, who owns like CBS and shit until recently. Bob Iger, Disney, Time Warner, Jeff Bukes, Comcast, Brian L. Roberts. And by the way, the consolidation is continuing for the record. And then News Corp, Rupert Murdoch, of course, and Sony with Kazuo Hirai. There's even more consolidation, of course, taking place. I believe there was an insane fucking graphic that I saw online. I think it was from More Perfect US that said that in like the 80s or 90s, there were like 55 companies in American media, and that number has now been reduced to 5. It's not even 6, it's 5 in America. Sony is the only non-American. So is the Jews controlling the media gaining more shtick now? No, dumbass. Kaz Hirai was actually born in Buffalo. Yeah, in 1983, 50 companies controlled 90% of the U.S. media market. That number is now down to 5. The reason why I get so fucking mad at the anti-Semitic trope, Jews control the media, is not only because it like obviously is telltale bigotry, telltale sign of fascist theory, but it's also wrong. These motherfuckers don't own these companies because they're Jews, dumbass. They own these companies because they're capitalists, okay? And all of the other fucking CEOs under all of the other owners are also fucking capitalists. That's it. Capital owners are aligned on one thing and one thing only: the continuation of profits. Richest person on the planet is Elon Musk. He's South African, okay? Why is it that Elon Musk and Larry Ellison, who is Jewish, are directly aligned even on Israel, even though Elon Musk is anti-Semitic, but totally fucking aligned on Israel? How does that work? Why does that work? One must ask that question. Is it because of like Jewish mind control? Or do you think there's perhaps another reason? No, yeah, that's why it's so funny when like Nazis will be like, nah, he's a secret Jew. Or they'll say, oh, well, that person married a Jewish person. Or is secretly Jewish. Bill Gates probably is the funniest version of that. These guys just like, because of the overall refusal to recognize this from a materialist framework, the overall refusal to recognize this from an anti-capitalist framework, people would rather believe that like Bill Gates is Jewish because it fits with the Jewish control conspiracies than to fucking recognize that there is no monolithic structure beyond class. And even then there can be obviously traitors of one's class as well. Very few in the billionaire class, obviously very few in the capital owning class, but can happen. Anyway, are you fighting anti-Semitic tropes right now? I was told you're a raging bigot by my favorite YouTuber. Your favorite YouTuber has probably leaned into anti-Semitic tropes a lot more in the process of calling me an anti-Semite, like saying, all Jews are Zionists. Why the fuck are you anti-Zionist? That means you're anti-Jew, you're anti-Semitic. As though that would somehow change the equation, by the way. Like if virtually, it's a falsehood anyway, but if virtually every single Jewish person was like, I love Israel, I love what Israel is doing, what do you think I would be like, oh, well, I guess I can't. I guess I can't actually criticize Israel any longer out of fears that I might be called anti-Semite. Like, what are we talking about? I know that person was joking. I know. Please tell me you're not still buying the anti-ice clip. We're supposed to believe a guy with 6,000 hours in Rust isn't racist? No, I'm not. I already talked about that. Talked about that yesterday.